Hello, everybody. This is Dan Tomaszewski with Everything MSP, and we have our good friend, Sean Lardo. Sean is from OITVOIP. So, Sean, how are you doing today, buddy?
Doing fantastic. It's a lovely Tuesday. I'm going to put this out here now because I know Keith will probably be on to talk nonsense. I'm slightly sad the Steelers are no longer undefeated. They lost to a lesser team.
Yeah.
So let's get that out of the way right now. And then for my coworkers down in Miami, they already celebrated the fact that Miami Dolphins are still the only undefeated team that won a Super Bowl. And yeah, I'm just getting out of the way now. So whatever everyone wants to say today, please just get out of your system. It's out of my system now. I've already cried myself to sleep last night. I'm ready for the day.
Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing a comment here from Keith any moment now.
Yes, always.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet, but I'm sure he'll join us in a second. So tell me this. I'm in Michigan. You're in Pennsylvania, and
Yeah.
it's cold.
Yeah. Yeah,
cold.
it is. It absolutely is. What is the weather there today for you guys? Are you
Well, actually, I
25,
was
30?
just going to pull that up here. Actually, 37. But you know
Oh,
what? It feels 36. It feels colder than that out there.
oh yeah.
So we do
We're
have some snow in the forecast coming up this weekend. What's the weather in the forecast looking for you?
well here in Pittsburgh today. Right now, I just looked it up. It's 34, but it feels like 25. Looks like just rain. We already got. I don't know if you guys got hit. We got hit with a bunch of snow a week ago. We got like that several inches and just
Yeah,
crushed us.
you know, I was in Detroit at the time, and I was leaving a client's office a little bit later at night, and there was some snow in the car. But back home in Grand Rapids, we did have some snow that I wasn't, I didn't get a chance to enjoy.
Uh,
Um,
I don't know.
so you know,
Is it enjoyable? Sometimes it's only enjoyable when you're like not having to really deal with it. If you can play in it, ski in
yeah,
it, and just look out the window and drink your coffee, like Eric Smith. Yes, beans for you, right, buddy?
yeah. I'm not a big winter person. However, I live in Michigan, the winter wonderland, right? So,
Yeah, right.
you know,
I saw I've been watching this show. I forget what show it is right now, but the guy had a shirt on. It was freaking hysterical and said, "I went to Michigan and all I got was sad." That's what it said.
That's awesome.
I was like, that is
Yeah.
impressive. I thought that was a very good. That was a simple, funny T-shirt. That's all it was.
I mean, that's it. It's pretty much it is, sad, especially the medical diagnosed version of sad, with in the winter, is really not fun.
No,
Um, so Sean,
season
you're
de- seasonal depression is real. I swear it is.
definitely, definitely, especially when you add the time change to the mix
Oh
and,
yeah.
it's dark at 5 o'clock. So Sean, you've been with OIT VoIP for just a little over a year now.
Hmm.
You had your anniversary back in October, and you are the VP of Partner Development.
Yes,
And
sir.
I can tell that you have fit in very well with the culture with Ray's team, and I'm it just you guys just work together well. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. The answer is yes to all of the above. It was a natural fit. Just a little bit of background on Ray and I. Even Ray and I were friends before we worked together, so it was a long time in the making, I guess. But we really had no really reason to work together at one point. He was a client of mine in a previous life where
Okay.
he was my champion, and was able to help me to generate more business with MSPs or Senior IT existed, which was the MSP that we
Okay.
had. And so yeah, and the I can't say enough about our team. Even we have a very strong team. We have three offices now: Canada, Pittsburgh, and down in Florida, down in Miami. So they're all probably laughing right now. Listen, let's talk about the freaking winter and freezing in
Right.
Miami. But yeah, no, we have we have a really strong, solid team. We have great people. And really, yeah, it's been the culture is fantastic. We've had a great year. Um, the whole point of me coming here was to scale the company, and that was my whole intent. And I'll give credit where credit's due. Long before I even got here, Ray and team had built a great infrastructure for us to really build off of. So it was easier said than done in this case.
Right.
And they did it, and now we're having and with COVID and everything, COVID set some things back for a minute, but realistically for us in the communication world, it just made VoIP so much more important.
Yeah, definitely.
And, so it was a struggle because we had to pivot the way we were going to market, which it's kind of funny because we're going to talk about maximizing profit and how to sell, right? But,
Right.
What a great lesson to just say real quick here off of real world experience. We had a plan that I built when I came aboard last year for 2020 that we were going to do, how we were going to approach the market, how we were going to market, increase our brand, sell, increase everything. And this had to do with travel. And yeah, there's been zero travel since February for us. All the conferences we were going to go to find more partners, all the places we were going to go to help them to promote their brands was all gone. And so we had, as a company, we had to pivot. And everybody here is forced to do that right now. So I think, any company that you're seeing that is persevering is doing it because they were able to make that pivot and make the adjustment, look outside the box a little bit and work down one pathway. And we did that, and it's been very successful.
Yeah. And, in that culture that you guys have at OITVOIP is, while it's great for you guys, as people that are working there, it's also great for all of your partners, because that means that, everybody's working with a solid company, with people that love what they do and have passion for what they do. And, and as MSPs, when we look for partners, we want that type of relationship. We want to make sure that there's a good fit there like that. And that's strong. And
Absolutely.
you've worked with all kinds of companies. And one of the things too is you've worked with large and small, but you also have that military experience. You're a military veteran. Thank you for your service. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Thank
you. So it's you've got a well-rounded level of experience that you're bringing to that team. And so when we take a look at our conversation today, we're talking about maximizing profits with an effective voice strategy. And, one of the things that you mentioned is 2020 and how, a lot of companies were, cutting back because of the pandemic. However, for you, it's fueled things. And it doesn't mean that I guess that fire, that fuel that was started in the beginning of the pandemic, there's still opportunities, right?
Absolutely. It hasn't changed yet. I mean, let's instead of talking about VoIP first, let's talk about MSPs at large. And actually, I'll give credit where credit's due. Your group, Everything MSP, has been great for me. So thank you for having that and starting that originally. And it's been great for these MSPs. We sat on that call before Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time. We were talking about what we're thankful for, and I was thankful to see a lot of the same faces still there in business, because the early ongoings, people were nervous. They thought they were going to lose their business. And I wanted to start with that because I think as an MSP, you guys you're the driver for people to stay in production. These small businesses can't afford all the bells and whistles of a full IT staff. So they come to an MSP because they're outsourcing at a better rate, for one, and they're paying for an expert that can keep them in business and running. I have a friend of mine that's an attorney, and his office, when COVID took place, originally when they shut us down, we're in PA, so we've had very stringent rules happen, just like you did in Michigan there, where they started to say, hey, don't go in. You have to work. You can't work there. You have to work remote. Well, this law firm is a couple 100-year-old law firm, and their systems are dated like it is a couple 100-year-old law firm. They haven't done anything. And so when this went down, our other friend is an MSP. They hired him immediately, and he went in and got them up and running remotely. He did everything within a matter of 48 hours. They paid him handsomely, of course, for this, but
Sure.
because they had nothing, they realized they were losing about 20 to 30% of their revenue right off the bat, because you have attorneys that have no way to communicate. They have no technology processes going on. They had nothing. So, I'm saying this because it's important for you guys as MSPs to really think about this, is that, we talked about perceived value the other day, you and I on the phone, and
Yeah.
perceived value in this case is you're an MSP. If I'm a business owner and I'm an attorney, and let's just say my law firm generates $5 million a year in business, and I'm about to lose half of that, well, okay, that's $2.5 million. So what's your value as an MSP if you can get me up and running to make that 5 million? Your value is 2.5 million. I mean, you can't charge it out. We know that, but think about that. It might seem something easy to you, but to me, the average Joe, as an attorney, I know legalities. I don't necessarily know technologies.
Right.
So, this COVID situation, I think if you're, the MSP should be considered the king of COVID, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You're taking everybody either existing, the way they've done business, and now you're putting them remote, and you're supporting them technology wise to keep them rolling, whether it's making sure they have the hardware, the software, the whatever, and everything is still up and running.
And I think what's happened with this pandemic, and everything with 2020 starting when we started shutting down, is when you talk about that, businesses having to pivot. I think ultimately all businesses were in a mode as if they were starting up again.
Yes.
They were thinking as if they were a startup, and if they haven't, they should, because now is the time to really rethink your overall strategy.
Sure.
Not only to adapt to new ways of doing business, but also the market has changed, and what people are looking for has changed, and that's why VoIP has been big. I mean, VoIP isn't brand new, but
No.
VoIP, a couple of things. One, quality of VoIP has just improved drastically. Internet quality up there, internet speeds have improved, and that
Absolutely.
helps. And and it's something that people, if they're working from home, work from home is not going to go away. A lot of companies have moved that way permanently, and the ability to act, I guess, as if you're working from a corporate office, but you're spread across anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're located, as long as you can deliver whatever your product or service is.
Mm-hmm.
People don't care where our clients are working, and and that's where that flexibility with the VoIP comes into play.
Absolutely, I would totally agree with that. I think it's important. One of the things we stress when we're talking about it is and it's funny because, again, back to when you first started this group, and for me, I've been working from anywhere for years. So COVID did not change my way of doing business, but for the average individual, a lot of them went to an office every single day. And, I've even seen studies where, they've talked about statistics of 25% work hybrid right now, or were working hybrid 2 years ago, and they were projecting to be a 50% hybrid over the next year or two. COVID took place, they're projecting to be 75% now instead by the end of mid next year. So people may never go back to a regular, working in an office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or whatever it may be. So yeah, communications is extremely important. So when we talk about that, communication from anywhere is very important. So again, we try to focus on, and I think VoIP at large does, not just us, but focusing on the fact that, what do customers really need to use? Where does VoIP play in this? And what features are really important? Because we've seen a lot of, you've been around long enough, you've seen it. You've seen some very, you've seen features come out that make zero sense. Right. And it's like, oh, that's really cute. Like, hey, you can integrate to my toaster and we can make bagels from your phone. That makes no sense. But then you've seen some really cool things that have occurred. Like Teams has become very strong. Zoom has become strong. They've tried to go into the VoIP space, even they're not very strong in the VoIP space, but they do have some sort of option but then companies like us have actually gone one step further and started doing integrations. And I actually have a presentation deck, and I'll show you a little bit of it too. But I know we're getting into it right now, but we've all gone into this path of trying to make it where your customers have a one-stop shop to get what they need from us, from you guys, whatever, for their communication needs. And, right. we're trying to be versatile enough that we can fit their needs with having multiple options. you know, whether they're using a desk phone or they're using a mobile app or they're using a soft phone or if they're using Teams and they want to talk from their, use Teams as their soft phone, but they don't, again, Teams doesn't have fully functioning VoIP for business needs anyway. So, you know, again, complementing that. So we really have gone above and beyond in that to ensure that, and it makes it a little bit easier for you guys, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a value add, which is the most important thing, is the value add to customers.
Perfect. And with that, why don't we jump into some of your slide deck, and we won't bore anybody with, you know, PowerPoint overkill. We want to keep this more conversational, and please, everybody out there, you know, if you have questions as you're going along, go ahead and throw them into the chat. We'd love to answer any questions you have.
Absolutely. All right. So can you see my deck?
We see it. Yeah.
Awesome. So
technology works.
I know, right? Sometimes you never know. I've been there. So we're talking about maximizing profits with an effective VoIP strategy. One thing that, as you know, Dan, we don't like to do, we're not here to promote ourselves and how we do business necessarily. We like to keep things as educational as possible, because ultimately at the end of the day, we want people just to learn and be able to be more productive in their own world, to be able to do more, sell more, grow more. And that's all. If it's with us, great. If it's not with us, that's fine also. You know, I mean, just in your group, I made a lot of friends, a lot of MSPs that they don't work with us today, and they may never, you know, and that's fine. They're still good people. Not to mention names like Keith, but you know, he probably should work with us for as much as he does.
Right.
That's what he says. Anyway, so I did put together a quick agenda, and I'm going to go through slides, but I'm not going, again, we want to be conversational. So by all means, keep interrupting me when you want. I'll give you we talked about the company background a little bit, but I'll get a little bit more in depth on that. Then I'll talk about the importance of offering VoIP, how to sell VoIP and choose the right vendor. And then, you know, again, if there's any questions during the course, I have time. We should have time for questions also, because this won't take very long.
Perfect. So
you start talking about OIT and the originations of it. And this slide is great. I'll be done with it quickly. You know, we were an MSP at one point, and we still have MSP clients, but we don't take on any new clients anymore. They're just the ones that don't want to leave, because we've done an awesome job with them and they love us. We have great relationships. In 2003, we got into the VoIP space by reselling, working with telcos and whatnot. We spent a good decade reselling and white labeling with some of our competitors, and we got a great hold on the business and industry. So that's been great. But come 2013, we realized we were going to launch our own brand because we were successful, doing well. So from 2013 to today, we now currently are 100% partner focused. We work with MSPs mostly, predominantly MSPs. Over 90% of our revenue comes from our partner base. We don't do anything direct. We don't compete. We don't do anything like that. Our whole chief mission is to work with people, with partners, and help them grow their business, period. That's what we do. That's how we work.
That's solid. Yeah. I mean, that's, I think MSPs ultimately are looking for vendors like that who aren't selling direct. You know, it's not the end of the world, you know, if a vendor does sell direct, but, you know, it is really nice to be able to work, you know, in these type of scenarios.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about the importance of offering VoIP. I love having stats. If nobody knows, I love pulling up stats, but, you know, I think the very first line says it all. You know, from 2010 to 2018, you know, it was 35 million VoIP lines in the 8 years between 2010 and 2018. That's a very lofty number, okay, that we're adding on. Not to mention right now, some stats I didn't throw in executive. I get thrown a lot of stats up here, but it doesn't make a difference to do so. You know, right now, you're looking at only 31% of the businesses are using VoIP today, while 45% businesses are not using are making the move at the end of their current contract. So what's that tell you? 31%. So if you're an MSP, you sell locally. If you drive down your street of your metropolis area, where's all your businesses, you can, if you count the amount of retail stores or office spaces there that are active and people are open, only 31% of them are actually using VoIP right now, which means the rest of that market share is still there for you to go take.
That's huge. I mean, it's you know, like I said, VoIP has been around for a while, but the opportunities are still tremendous. You guys are in an industry supporting MSPs that allows them to get foot in door, with opportunities that could become managed services opportunities by providing that VoIP service.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge takeaway for this, is the fact of you're looking to become, and for lack of better terminology, is a Swiss Army knife, right? Where you're able to do almost anything within reason. Obviously, I'm not saying you should be Victor Orley and be a chef, but you should be able to, as far as technology is concerned, be that Amazon of technology for the small business, right? So to speak. And you need to have a way in, because they may not need managed services right now. Maybe they have a current IT guy, and that IT guy that works for them is never going to want you around because you may take his job. We know that.
Right.
But, that's the one concern. But he's not necessarily a phone provider. So again, phone providing is a little different. You're saying, hey, let me help you. Let me lower your costs. Let me do whatever. It gets you in the door. Now, that's just one way. If you're a full-fledged MSP and you're providing all the essential things you need, then you're also offering cybersecurity and everything else, which I'll actually show you in a second. But yeah, it is extremely important to have, again, when you go on Amazon, you don't go for just one. You may go for just one thing. You end up finding 20 more things, and that's why Amazon is so successful. They have everything you need, just like Walmart.
Just throw one other thing in there too, is, when you take a look at companies, you try to get in there and, whether it's a break fix account or just a brand new opportunity trying to convert to manage, they might think things are fine today. They might think that what they're doing as far as managing their technology is the right way. But if you get in there and you sell a VoIP solution and you bring OITVOIP in, they might see things of how you manage that and how you implement and, the entire process, and say, wow, I didn't think, I thought ultimately what we were doing as far as managing our technology was rock solid. But what you showed us and how you implemented this, there are gaps in things that we didn't realize, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Absolutely. And it's, when I worked with large companies, and like Thomson Reuters was a client of mine, so was ExxonMobil at one point, and EDMC, and tons of different companies that I worked with. And in sales, it's called land and expand. Okay. And when you're talking about land and expand, it's kind of like, okay, I know you have a need for this, and I'm going to go help you solve that problem. And that's a very important thing to understand, is you have to ask what they're trying to figure out, what their pain is, and you got to help them solve that pain. You can't talk about the next thing until you've actually solved that. You can plug what you guys are holistically, and you should, but you don't want to get into the minutia of that conversation. But it's important you just simply say, hey, let me fix this for you, because when you fix that and they actually purchase from you from that instance, like you said, you did a great job at implementing and fixing their stuff. And then you realized during the course of that, holy hell, I found some other gaps.
Right.
By the way, you guys I don't know if you noticed this, but, and I see a lot of posts these days anymore in your group and other groups, especially, about cybersecurity threats and malware and everything else, like hacking and whatnot. And how many times small business owners say, I'm not going to get hacked. Nobody cares about me. I'm a small business owner.
Right.
That's untrue. Actually, the average individual resident person, me, myself, not a company, me, myself, gets hacked.
Right.
It's not uncommon. It happens all the time. But you as MSP, you go into this conversation, you fix the first issue, whatever issue A was, they love you, then you've just earned credibility. And you show them other things that they should focus on too, which are now become upsell opportunities, and actually I'll get into that too for a second here. Let me talk about this real quick here. This goes right into exactly what we're talking about, becoming a holistic MSP. It's extremely important. This graph is actually from CompTIA's research on MSP trends. And you can see they broke down percentages of what MSPs are offering. Okay. And it's everything: help desk and IT support, network, cybersecurity, down to storage, backup and recovery, telecom and or AV, print. It's all here for you. This is a holistic MSP. Now, I know that there's always newer and greater things that come out, and look at the evolution of MSPs. They were break fix people that turned into MSPs, that turned into MSSPs, and then whatever. I don't even know what the next level is, but I'm sure there will be one. Maybe another S will get added on, maybe another P or another M. Who knows? But it'll happen. So I want to talk about like, why should partners want to do stuff like this? They want to become a one-stop shop for their customers, right? They want to increase the revenue. Now back to all these categories here, including VoIP. If you already got in the door with any one of these individual singular items and you did a good job with it, you should be able to back to land and expand. You should be able to expand the size of the opportunity and working with your customer by providing more valuable information that's a value add to them and running their business. Back to my attorney friend, he went in to help with some stuff on just getting their new laptops set up, getting new softwares put in to make sure they were protected, make sure they're compliant. It turned in from that, it went over to phone service, it went to a bunch of other stuff. They actually were like, hey, can you do a new website for us? So he got a website designer involved and created a new website for them, so he landed and expanded all kind of ways. And that's important. Also for customers, they want a cost-effective, reliable solution. That's why VoIP is so good. Done right, back in the day, VoIP was not strong, and you already sort of addressed that, Dan. It wasn't because VoIP itself was necessarily bad, but it just didn't jive because of internet speeds and everything. There were many variables involved, not just VoIP itself. Nowadays, hell, AT&T, Vonage, us, take your pick. They're all doing it now. VoIP is very strong. People have Wi-Fi, access to Wi-Fi anywhere. Hell, in the city of Pittsburgh, I can go in downtown Pittsburgh and sit outside, and there's open Wi-Fi for us to access.
That's awesome.
You can log in. A lot of cities have that now, so you have access to that. So that takes that off the board right there. And when I showed you that stat before about these companies looking to move to VoIP, a lot of these when COVID took place, on-prem solutions really were it was difficult for you to sell a VoIP solution to a company that had an on-prem solution that was working fine for them because their costs were minimal at this point. They already made that huge upfront investment years ago, and now their monthly bill was relatively low. The problem is then when COVID took place, remote work didn't exist in communications,
right?
Unless they hired somebody to come in and do some stuff, and that's all. And they were charging, my God, they were charging Easter Sunday rates, and it was ridiculous. And even then, it didn't work naturally. So we've seen such an uptick from on-prem solution people that weren't going to work with us originally through our partners that are now actually signing on. For us, we've seen that market grow, almost tenfold from the on-prem groups to us now. And I can only imagine it's every one of our companies that are in this situation have seen that also.
Well, I want to throw something in here when you talk about the being a holistic MSP. There's a difference between being everything to everyone and providing services that are a solid fit within your organization through partners. Trying to be everything to everyone is a scenario where, a client says, hey, I need to have some databases, I need some database development or I need some coders, you don't have anybody that can do that. And, it's something that is not in your wheelhouse. Now, with something like VoIP, you're not going to build out your own VoIP solution, right? You're going to go with a company like OITVOIP that has it done as a solid partner. They do best what they do best, or I should say you guys do best what you do best, while the MSP does best what they do best. So the thing is, if you avoid bringing a VoIP solution on, to your stack, what's going to happen is there could be other MSPs, IT companies out there that are in your community that might be just using VoIP as foot in door. And so you're managing an account for a client, and they have somebody coming in saying, hey, I want to offer you a VoIP solution. And they're, some clients don't always, they should, but they don't always bring in the IT staff, and then until they say, hey, by the way, tomorrow we're going to be switching over to VoIP, so we're going to need your help. And so then that company, over time, could take over that MSP business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You, actually, one of our partners that signed on with us not that long ago as one of our white label partners lost 3,000 endpoints because of that.
Wow.
Right. And 3,000, that was a big deal. And that's because he didn't offer a solution that made sense for them to just sell VoIP into. And they shopped around. somebody actually had it. It was another MSP competitor across the city, and then eventually took on all their business. And he had no clue. It took him. It was back to land and expand. They came in with a VoIP, and they helped them. They did really well. And they said, hey, we can increase the package size and to do other service offerings for you that will make sure that you're running daily with all your technology needs for a minuscule amount more. Absolutely. Right. It's a bundle. Everybody knows bundles. Everybody buys it. If you have Comcast or Verizon area, you have bundles. So yeah, I think we have some questions here, don't we?
Well, Keith just threw a comment out. Yeah. So Keith has a couple. Yeah, I'll let you jump on that one.
I've wandered the city aimlessly, Keith. And no, we're not going to answer it. We're not going to address that at all. Forget it. Moving on.
Keith has a good point there, though, with VoIP and related services are closely tied to workflow and processes. And, one of the biggest things that we talk about on our weekly Build It Better calls is that we have to take off our IT hats and we have to wear that business process hat. We have to be talking. Absolutely. We have to have those business discussions, because it's not about the specific product or service. It's about what you're doing for them, what your product or service does for them. Because at the end of the day, they're going to come to you and not necessarily, I need VoIP. They're going to come to you and say, I need the ability for my staff to work from home or work from anywhere and still be able to accept calls and make calls and, get voicemails and everything else that comes with it from no matter where they're at. I don't want it to be a situation where we have to, answer the calls, send it to their voicemail, or, do a transfer to their cell phone, like being disconnected, right? Or, and
absolutely.
Being very hodgepodge.
No, absolutely. It's actually something I learned years ago, especially in the tech world, it's very simple to do, is there's a difference between features and use cases. Okay.
Right.
Features support the use case. The use case is exactly what you're referring to, which is I have struggles with whatever A is. In your case, like you said, hey, I need to have voicemail, auto attendant, blah, blah, blah. They don't necessarily know what that means. They just want to say, and that's one of the first questions we ask is, if I call your office today, what do you want to happen? What should we hear first? Right. Is it going to be a live person answering the phone? If it is, okay, it's going to go, so it needs to go to that person. So who is that person? And make sure it's routed to that exact person. Or no, you have an answering service that takes place, or in our case, an auto attendant. It's funny how people don't understand what an auto attendant is. And actually, one of the things I always recommend is learn how to translate. Okay, so back from talking features to talk use cases. If you're talking to an accountant, or you're talking to a doctor or an attorney, it's kind of like your attorney. If you talk to your attorney, you start talking legalese, you're like, I don't understand thy, thou, and arts. Okay, that doesn't work. But please tell me in English what I'm supposed to be expecting here,
Right.
And that's actually what we get into, is how to sell VoIP, right? It's funny how you actually just led me into this. So good job, Dan.
Unintended, transfer over, carryover.
Right, it was perfect though. Learn how to identify an opportunity. Take note at the bottom of the screen, and he's on this right now, and the reason why he's on is because I was putting him on here. One of our partners, Eric from Geekbox, we were talking yesterday, we're creating some content for him, and I said, so tell me how you identify an opportunity. And he said, well, my existing customers, I walk in the door and I look at their phones, I'm like, that looks old. What are you guys using? That's right. A simple way. And he said, all it takes is a question. That was a great line. Yeah. I find so many people think that you have the answers, right off the bat, you already disqualify yourself from a deal because you think they already have what they need, or you don't think you provide value, or you just don't even ask, like, hey, what's going on? How have things been going? How's it been since COVID? Have you been able to keep up your business? And you'll hear a bunch of stuff right then and there. And that's the next point, is ask questions across the board. The 80-20 rule is real. What the 80-20 rule is, what you hear for all kind of categories. We hear 80-20 rule with everything. But in this particular case, the 80-20 rule is really about 80% you listening, 20% you responding, okay, when you first start talking to people. And what it means then, to go just a little bit deeper, is I'm going to keep asking you questions, okay, and because the questions are related to business needs, like how is it going since COVID took place? You're going to start asking me things. You're going to start responding with like the top tier one answers like, oh, business is okay. Could be better. Well, how could it be better? Oh, it could be better if we had blah, 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 whatever that is. You know, if we had computers that worked, or we had a phone system that was great. Oh, who are you using today? Oh, I use Vonage and it's shut down. I don't know what happened. We can't get a hold of their support. Oh, that stinks. Is that normal for you? Yeah. And see, I'm just asking questions and you're giving me all the information I need.
Yeah.
And I'm drilling down to what is the real core problem there? And how do we get back to this and so I can show you something, you know? And then after you ask all your questions and you have everything you need, present your solution. Not present your features, present your solution. Learn how to translate, okay? Set the proper expectations. I always put this screenshot ever because I think it's the greatest thing ever, and I will not do my accent because Ray will make fun of me later. But, you know, the Princess Bride, he says, hello, my name is Enigma Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. The very bottom of it says exactly it. Remember what he did here. He had a polite greeting, hello. He told you his name. Relevant personal link. And he managed expectations by saying, prepare to die. You know,
four things, right?
Yep.
You know, those need to be ingrained into each and every one of us as we're having those conversations, because I mean, we've all, you know, one of the best things to do is if you're not comfortable yet going out and having these type of conversations, start out having a couple vendors, you know, whoever's trying to sell to you in your local hometown, have them come in, hear their pitch for something, you know. I mean, I'm not saying anything technology related, anything. It could be a payroll provider, it could be anything. Let them come in, because you will see how some do it well, and you'll see a lot of bad stuff. And by seeing that, you might sit there and think, oh my gosh, will this guy just shut up? Will he stop talking? Because naturally, a lot of salespeople want to come and do that data dump. They want to tell you everything about themselves. And the conversation should be about them and learning about them. And your stuff will automatically fall in and fill in where it's needed. And you know, you just sit back and ask those questions and wait for the opportunities to plug things in.
Absolutely. If you just sit back and listen and pay attention and identify opportunities is very easy, and get comfortable with conversations. One thing that I did, you know, we do the tech bar every other Thursday. We do webinars often. It's a constantly learning, right? Constantly developing my own self. So I actually watch other webinars. I watch other podcasts. I just start taking bits and pieces and trying to figure out where I can improve, because that is crucial. If I don't do that, first of all, you think you're the best, you've already failed, period.
Right.
If you don't think you can learn anything else, then, you know, if you're not retired with billions of dollars, then you really can't. And plus, you're not the best at everything. So I constantly pay attention to that. I constantly learn from other people. I'll even give a shout out to Alex from Lifecycle Insight. You know, listen to him on some of the calls and how he approaches the way he presents MSP services when he was an MSP is real. I love hearing that. And his process is pretty sound. The things he said in it, the way he's able to capture information and reiterate it and build value around it is spot on. And he speaks with a confidence about it. Like, it's kind of like why the hell are you not doing this kind of thing? You know?
And he does do a great job with that. And one of the things that, you know, I've recognized is it's that level of confidence. And in order to get to that level of confidence, it's doing this over and over. But to get to that point, if you're afraid of, you know, making that first venture out there, and it comes down to role playing. You know,
Absolutely.
Sit in front of another person, jump on a Zoom call with a fellow MSP or a vendor, you know, and go through this. You know, just do a sales pitch. You know, with another person, and that will help you get the confidence. And
So I want to answer a question here. David Bone had asked, what platform is OITVOIP based around? We're built off the NetSapiens platform. And then obviously we have our own carriers that we work with. So just wanted to make sure I got that out of the way real quick. Back to the slide here though. I also put these are links for you guys to click on. I know Dan will share the deck whenever after this is done. But by all means, these are not from me. These are 10 tips that I found that are really good that I've used in my life, but they're there. And also ways to identify sales opportunities, some good quick practices. So please take advantage of it. So let's talk about what customers want. And again, we already started touching a little bit earlier on, and because we only have about 18 minutes and I have slides still I have to go through. So, back to translating, back to relating, back to use cases and everything. We talk about stay connected from anywhere. That is such a strong thing in itself. The message makes so much sense because when all this took place with COVID to begin with, remote employees jumped up to 100%. And we found ourselves drop shipping phones to people's residents, making sure they have what they need. Not just, and that's people that want physical phones. If they use a soft phone, they could do so. If they had an app, they could use the mobile app. It doesn't matter. So, we actually, and for us to help these partners grow, we started creating content for you guys to start to educate them, start to promote. So Teams integration, sales and customer service support, this is all part of the factors for VoIP. And then also what to consider in order to buy a VoIP. Again, we're talking about people going from on-prem solutions over to moving with VoIP and why it is. And we actually put this all together for you guys right here. So again, you guys should be able to speak to this though, not just us. So it's teaching you guys what to say, when to say, how to say it, of course, but talking about what they want. Not talking about, nobody cares about, if you talk about the most minute, deep tech feature that you created, that you worked on 15 years on. They don't care about that. They care, what does it do for them? How does it improve their business? And that's what you need to focus on. And so one thing we also offer when we go into this, and you guys can see here, what else do customers want? They want to have the ability to manage the thing through one portal. They want to have access. They're doing stuff that they need to do on a fly. Again, I keep saying COVID, right? But the fact is, that was probably the pinnacle of just having to change things like crazy. Your business hours changed. So they want to have the ability to go in here and change their auto attendant to say, click here to go here, click here to do this. By the way, here's our new business hours. This is when it calls during these hours, they're going to call and they're going to get this voicemail. They're going to get this auto attendant. They're going to get whatever it is, this pathway. So we give the ability to manage all aspects of the business through a portal for them. Plus for the MSPs, you guys get access to this too when you're a reseller for us, then when you sell to them. So that if they call you, is just another added bonus as to why they work with you. Okay. And as far as features are concerned, it's all the features they need. Now, if I talk to a customer about this, to a doctor or an attorney, I'm going to say, oh yeah, we have auto attendant, we have call park, we have queue callback. They're going to say, well, what does that mean? So why not say, auto attendant, it's a digital virtual assistant that navigates people through the course of their business. We provide, and here's a big one, HIPAA compliance. Anytime we deal with the healthcare field, they want to know HIPAA compliance. They may not even know what the hell it even means. I don't know if anybody really knows what it means at this point. It's a bunch of stuff depending on what industry you're in, but it's there. Okay.
Right.
So again, you want to say the things you need to say. You want to talk about the use cases you need to talk about, but you're here to support what they're trying to accomplish, not talk about features. So what I talk about then is I go into this, I say, stay connected everywhere. Okay. Whether it's on your mobile app or you're using your soft phone or you're using Teams integration. Again, multiple ways of communication based off things you already know. Also, not to mention, why not leverage the fact that companies like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, they've all done a great job at promoting why phones are so important to you, why communication is so key. They've already done it. Okay, it's just a matter of saying, hey, you know what that is? Those are cell phones, great and all, but what about your business solution needs? Oh, we need the same stuff. Well, okay, let me show you how to do it. It's already done. The commoditization has happened. The market is ripe for the picking for everybody. So talk about choosing the right vendor. Okay, you dabbled in a little bit before, because yeah, we talked about what they need, but you got to make sure you can have somebody you can trust. You need expertise, you need growth potential, you need respect and resolutions, you need communication, ease of doing business. I love expectation conversations. Work from home, expectations reality. Okay, this is the same rules apply as vendors. Okay, if you look like this, but you really operate like this,
right?
All this is going to be irrelevant because you're going to shit the bed. Fact. Okay, so and so I'm going to go into a little bit of plugging us right now. I'm going to keep it very brief but again, when you're trying to do these things, when you're looking for the vendor, who do you trust? Why do you trust them? How do you figure it out? And so we talk about this. We look at customer base. Okay. This is some of our customers. Do they resonate with your customer base? Possibly. I mean, everybody loves Harley Davidson. Everybody's heard of United Way. Okay, Remax, people know about that stuff. The YMCA. I mean, so you can see there's companies here that, and it's about, do they fit in your threshold of how you do business? We have partners all the time that talk to us and say, I only deal with SMBs. I don't think it's gonna work. Fine, we'll work with them. 1 seat, 5 seats, doesn't matter. Everybody, it's phone service and it's not hard to do. On the other side of it though, some people say, I work with the YMCA. They need 1,000 seats. Is that going to be okay? Yeah, absolutely. It's okay. First off, it's VoIP. This is easy. My God, I've sold not the non-tangibles of the world. To have a tangible, oh my God, this is a tangible. It's so easy to sell. It's absolutely insane.
Yep.
And we can do it. But I want to go back to this real quick here. I skipped over this slide real quick. Also, if you work with a vendor, you want to look for people to have options. So one thing about us is we offer two partner programs, a channel and a white label. And we try, and again, we are partner first. One of our taglines is welcome to the family, because everybody that signs on with us as a partner is part of the family. We treat them as such. And we're here to ensure success for them. So when we're talking about ensuring success, it's about being, okay, hey, where are you as an MSP? I've only been doing this for a year. I'm not really sure about how to do anything with VoIP. Fine, be a channel program partner. You'll make commissions. You bring us the customer. We will help you make sure we close the deal for them. We will support them. We will teach you, give you, digestible bites that you're not overstepping your boundary. We don't want to ruin your reputation off of selling a bad product. So we are going to do everything in our power to ensure those customers are happy and that you're happy, and you're going to make a few extra dollars in the meantime. When the time comes, if you grow enough business, you want to go white label, by all means, we'll allow you to transition to the white label. We'll even cancel your customers with us and move them into your white label program. By the way, we're one of the only companies that do that. Big difference. Incredible. It is, and we've had a lot of our channel partners over the last 2 years that have started to go that have migrated into white label now because they've grown and they've gotten their feet wet. They feel comfortable. They realize how easy it is to sell. They realize how easy and scalable it is to support. It becomes easy money for them. You're talking the difference here. If you're a channel partner, you're talking making commissions off of referring a person over that you'd want to do business with. They want to do business with us. And you're going to make a 15 to 18 to 20% commission for the life of the customer. You go to white label, you're talking 70 to 80% margins in some cases here for them. We have guys that they start realizing, like, my goodness, selling phone service is very easy. I have my MSP, but why not go in with the phone service first? Show them how good we are and then sell the MSP service, and that's how they do it. And it's residual. It's MMR as long as the contract is for you guys. We do 2-year contracts for all of our customers through our channel partners, but you guys can do as a way we can do what you want, and back to choosing the vendor though, not just having options, not just seeing the customer base, but what about what the partners have to say? For all of you that are on here now, if you don't follow us like on our subreddit, by all means, please do so. If you're not within these groups, you should be. And if you want to, now information is everywhere. If you want to know if we're good, if I want to know if you're good, all I have to do is go out and Reddit and ask a question. The beautiful thing about Reddit, they are brutally honest. You hear everything you need to hear about somebody real quick. And you actually said before about companies that don't have it. If you can't do everything, you're not here to do everything for everyone. You're right about that. That's why we don't manufacture phones. So we work with these guys, strategic partnerships, alignments. If I can't do something and I know you can, and my friend needs it, why not introduce you guys? You may make some money. You're going to solve his problem. We're all happy in the end. It doesn't hurt. You can also set up a business, a parlayed business with this. I know a lot of people that'll work with other companies and they'll have a referral agreement in place, so they're making money from each other. Why not make that utopia? It doesn't make sense not to. Another reason why you should work with us or anybody like us, I don't want to say us because that's not what we're here to do, but is when choosing a vendor is who gives you one-stop shop of things. Who's very transparent? We're very transparent. You get your reseller portal. You get to do all of your stuff here from one place. It's a multi-tenant solution. You should be looking for the same thing, because if you want to grow your business and add money on, this is a key point to being able to keep your business running without you having to go through all the admin tasks that take up a lot of time. It's very big. Again, back to on-prem solutions, to other competitors that we work with, that we work against, we see that the inability not to be multi-tenant, they end up being involved in a lot of things of admin tasks that they don't want to be in. So, where you should be focused on talking to the customers, providing solutions, and finding the next deal. Resources at your fingertips is a big part for us. We launched earlier in the year at our CCS 2020, which Dan, you guys were part of. We launched our Partner Central, which was a one-stop shop for all your needs to facilitate business. So, you know, I only have a screenshot here, and anytime anybody wants to see it, I'm more than happy to show it off because we're very proud of this. But, you know, you can see there's multiple hubs here. From when you're working as a channel partner, you're going to do a quote request dashboard for you that you guys can actually submit your company's, your customers' information, get a quote built for you. Over to the sales hub, where we give best practice on sales. We give content like a presentation, PowerPoint presentation. We give sales processes. We teach you things of that nature. Marketing hub, where I showed you some of the pieces of content before that we've created for our partners. But it gives you the ability to go in, look for content that you need, have at the right time, even best practices on how to do email campaign marketing. And then the technical hub, which for anything you need to do we have VoIP University, where you can find any kind of content you need based off questions from customers, or you don't know how to set up an auto attendant, it's in there. If you don't understand, if you need a data sheet on phones, it's there.
This is tremendous because none of this stuff happens overnight, right?
No.
You know, this is years in the making, and it's an incredible amount of knowledge. And you know, you guys are obviously experts in this area, and that's why you're able to come up with all of this. Anytime you decide to, you know, start selling a new solution, start adding something new to your stack, you have to have a process, right? And you are providing that process to your partners to make that easy.
Absolutely. And it's important. We're trying to be a dedicated, you know, partner to you, not just the vendor, but your partner, your friends, family, everything. And we want to give you everything you need so you can actually come in and do things quickly, because it's about velocity of doing business. And if you're stuck and held up on some little thing that you can't figure out, it'll debunk your whole day almost. And in business you could have had is no longer there. So we give you everything that if you can't grow in our system, then you probably need to find a new profession, because it's been easy. We've dumbified it, made it as easy as possible. And also, Teams integration requires special licensing with Microsoft. And I'm looking through all of them. I know Keith has a long message I'm not getting to yet. But so the answer is yeah. Well, there's a few things here, Adam. One is the fact that you have to have the Teams Enterprise 5. Or you have to, if you have the 3, you have to have the voice license as well from them. So they have their own costs, because Microsoft has not. They're getting there, but it's been kind of hard going because they kind of expedited some things they didn't want to do because of COVID, and they're doing it now. But and we've done our integration with it. And for us, there is an additional fee if you're going to use our integration with the Teams as well. And if you want any more, by all means, my information will be on everything with Everything MSP, as it always is. You can always reach out, no problem. But yes, you said about this not being overnight. No, I wish this would have happened overnight, but this was years of, this was taking OIT's years and plethora of information, and then taking what I know, and then combined with what we've learned from all of you, putting into a portal that is, and by the way, all of our partners get this portal for free. And and everything's there, but we did it. We wanted to launch it way sooner than we did. I can tell you that, but it's worth it. It's done great deals. It's done a great deal for a lot of our partners. But just a couple more things, and we'll wrap us up. Is that, you know, security, stability, infrastructure is very sound. This page talks about our four data centers. They're actually in carrier hotels. I want to plug this because it's very important to understand that there's a lot of things that happen in the back end that we've already done to ensure call quality, success with having phone service. That again, when you're looking for vendors, you should be asking these questions.
Hey, Sean, I want to.
Yes.
There's a question from Carolyn stating, need a new VoIP service to offer clients. Is there still an opportunity to work with OITVOIP? And I think there might have been a misunderstanding there. When Sean was talking early on about not bringing on any new clients, that was you were talking about your MSP business, right, Sean?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, because they have their MSP business, they're not bringing any new clients, and their complete focus is on OIT VoIP. So definitely OIT VoIP would be a great fit, and we'll be able to help you out, Carolyn.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing it up. So if you go to OIT.co, which is our website, by all means, you can schedule time with me or with Matt Connolly. That's the two. Either one of us will be able to work with you. Just our calendars on there. Schedule when you're good, Carolyn. So I do want to. We have like 2 minutes left, so I do want to stress the importance of community and working with each other. Dan and team have put together a very merry MSP Christmas. It's been fantastic so far for us. It's for all of you MSPs out there, you should be getting in here. You should be going. You can look at all of the sponsors that are involved, all the vendors that are involved here. It's a great way to learn more from any one of them and get access to certain things. And if you guys have questions on any one of these, one thing I will say is you can ask any one of us about these other companies. We've all worked with each other. We all know what we're about. It's a good stable of companies. So if you haven't had a chance to register, you need to make sure you do register.
I'll throw the link in chat for everybody.
Absolutely. And then upcoming events, we're part of the Very Merry MSP Christmas, as we always are part of everything with Dan's group. We have tomorrow another webinar that I'll be on again with CompTIA, the 2021 IT industry outlook. You guys probably want to be on that, considering we're all still trying to figure out how we're going to end 2020 and what's going to happen next year. I can tell you guys, if you don't know already, physical conferences have been pushed off at least until July of next year already. They've all canceled and went virtual. So that already gives you an indication of how 2020 is going to be different than, it won't be any different than the second half of 2020, or 2020 won't be the same as the second half of 2020, but you kind of need to know where you're going to want to go. It'll give you some great insight. We do have Ray will be on the 7 Figures MSP webinar, the Tech Bar on next Thursday the 17th with Keith Nelson.
Such a good guy. He just cracks us up, though.
He is a great guy. You guys, if you guys have not seen it, I suggest you at least check us out. It starts 6:30 Eastern Standard on Thursday evening. I think you'll enjoy it, at least for a good 10 or 15 minutes, till you think that you've just wasted time in your life. We are actually going to be doing a lot with the ComLaw group for another Partner First webinar, and that's on the 30th. And then the New Year's Eve special is actually New Year's Eve, which we'll be bringing all of our friends in. I believe Dan's invited to this as well. So everybody's gonna be making special cameo appearances. So if you want to be part of this, let us know. The more the merrier. That's it.
There are a few questions.
Okay.
One question out there, and I am not going to try to pronounce the name because my last name is Tomaszewski and everybody messes it up. But the question is, what is the process for applying for a partnership? That's from, I'm going to say Gurab. I apologize if I got that wrong.
Yeah, Gurab Kumar. So go on to OIT.co. Actually, I'll put it in the chat, our site, and schedule time to talk to one of us. You can schedule under partnerships. You'll see it. Schedule time for a demo or conversation with either myself or Matt Connolly. We will schedule, and it'll be already on there. As far as the schedule app is concerned, we'll get on. We'll talk about all the ins and outs and particulars for you guys, and give you. It's a very simple process. I want to make sure I stress, when we sit down with you all, we really want to make sure that you're in the right program too. So we will ask the questions to make sure you're there. Okay. This is a business decision. We know it's very important to you. So we make sure that you're in the right place. And that's what we'll do. Figure out where you belong, and then we'll take we will hold your hand through the process to make sure you know what you're doing so you can find success. Okay.
Awesome. Sean, as always, thank you so much for your knowledge, and we greatly appreciate that.
Hold on. I saw one attendee just post a message, so I just want to make sure I handle this.
So I feel really bad. I don't have a sombrero to wear. So and there's hang on. Let me get something. So.
Tony, thank you for sniping us at the end so I can wear my sombrero. I just look for a reason to wear it.
So that is a big bow.
Hold on. I mean, Simon, if you're not on doing a screenshot of this at this point, that I don't know what you're doing.
And it's a perfect, the whole very Merry MSP Christmas. With the bow here, and so and if I move it, it shines. And
look, I'm going to adjust. I mean, that looks good on you. You know, the benefits of having a bald head, in case people don't know, is you can stick a bow to your head.
Exactly. Look at that. There's barely any tape on it. So
I love it. That's fantastic. Oh my God. So yeah,
that's it. Tony's laughing hard out there. He's all caps. Ha 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 ha. There is one point he goes ha.
I already captured the screen, Keith. Don't worry. Yes, we're 4 minutes over. I know people have to go do their jobs. Thank you all for listening to me babble on for an hour. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to us. We're always available, whether it's Discord, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, you take your pick, we're everywhere.
And everybody, we will be sending a email out to everybody for those that attended and maybe some that weren't able to make it that had registered. That will be the replay. So you'll be able to watch that back. Or if you have other people within your organization you'd like to share that with, or other IT other IT friends of yours, please feel free to, share that as well. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks all.